get off the ground. Wow. So Pimax has sent me the new Crystal Super, the Ultrawide, 120 degrees field of view on this Crystal Super. And this all comes along when we're getting a lot of hardware from different manufacturers like Wing and Wingflex and PU Korea, and I'm building a center pedestal, and I'm wondering which is better, VR or my home cockpit. That's a serious question. I want to know what's better, VR or my home cockpit. Real quick about the Pimax Crystal Super is that it has the interchangeable engines where you can go ahead and take the faceplate off of it like so and remove the engine from it. And these engines are available for separate purchase. So if you already have a Crystal Super or a Crystal 57 ppd or 50 ppd, so you can go ahead and swap it out for the ultra-wide engine, which is pretty cool. So we're gonna go be testing out this ultra-wide engine, but I seriously want to know if this ultra-wide engine is gonna make me not want to use my own Airbus cockpit or Boeing cockpit. I want to know if VR is better than what I have built so far with my cockpit, with all the hardware that I have set up. I want to know. So, is this better than my 43-inch 4K LED monitor with my hardware peripherals from Wing and Wingflex, or the VR is going to be better? So let's go try this ultra-wide and see which we prefer. Let's go get it in the sim, and we'll do a comparison on it. So this is my current home setup. We got the Wing side stick, we got the tiller, we have the autopilot panel from Wing. We also have the overhead lighting from Rosefire. We also have the Wing FMC radio panel from Wingflex and the Wing throttle all around the setup here on a nice little seat. And that is a 43-inch monitor. I have two of them, one for the sim, one to monitor the chat. And the question is all of that better than my single VR ultra-wide headset? Because once you're in VR, you literally only need a few things. You don't need your big screen monitor or anything like that, and you manipulate everything in VR with your mouse. You can use the physical controls if you know how to use them, but is all of this better? That's going to be the question we need to answer today. A little bit more about the Pimax Crystal Super Ultra-Wide, 120 degrees field of view, 29 million pixels, is that it is simple to use, comes along with DMAS headsets, comes along with swappable engines, comes along with a top strap. We want to know, how good is this compared to my entire setup that I have here? So let's go find out. We're going to do a circuit in the full sim, then we're going to do a circuit in the headset and compare them. Here we go. Let's go ahead and do the takeoff roll here. Out of San Diego, runway 27 into the sunset, real weather, real time. Airspeed's alive, we got 100 knots. And there is V1. And let's go ahead and get off the ground. Oh yeah, listen to that sound. Positive rate of climb, we can go gear up on that. And then we can do our different wing views that we have, which is pretty cool to see. Love the sounds, love the wing views off this right here. Let's go ahead and adjust our altitude to 3,000 feet. Trust climb, engine reduction, and we can go ahead and disarm the speed brakes, get the nose down, and let's go ahead and do some flying here. Yeah, this is very comfortable, relaxed, nothing on my head at all, just flying, doing my flying and doing my wing views and so forth, which is very enjoyable. Like having the entire cockpit around you with the tiller and the side stick, the throttle, the speed brakes, the flap handle. It's just a cool thing to have. We can even go to the outside view, look at the airplane from the outside while we're flying. Let's take the plane, my airplane. Very nice. Love that Airbus disconnect chirp. It's one of my favorite sounds. Check. And here's our landing. Let's go. 50 over the numbers. retard, set her down, nice, reverse, coming down, nose coming down, gently, auto brakes kicking in, and reversers are deployed. That was nice, thoroughly enjoyable, man. When you have a full cockpit setup like this with all the controls in the right place, reversers in the right place, rudder pedals, tiller, it is pretty smooth. We're gonna set back up and go back and do the same flight in VR and see what the differences are. So while the sim is running, you can pull up the Pimax Play. We're gonna jump in it right away. We're not even gonna wait. And we're gonna see the difference. And I have a little toggle switch set up. Wow, this looks good. Little toggle switch set up here to jump me in VR. And we're already in a cockpit. Oh my word. Oh man. This is absolutely magical. I'm already in the cockpit with the Ultrawide, and it's the first time I'm actually seeing the Ultrawide. My cockpit setup is impressive. It's very impressive. But with VR, the difference is that you are sitting now inside the cockpit. So with the 2D panel, you are outside the cockpit looking at everything, or you're looking at a flat panel. With VR, I am actually in the cockpit looking around. And the performance here is remarkable with what Pimax could do with an ultra-wide lens, 120-degree field of view, which is crazy. It's a completely different feeling. Now, can I feel my autopilot panel and manipulate switches? Yes, I still can do that. That's one thing I do all the time. So I can manipulate switches. Compared to the 50 ppd and the 57 ppd, I want to say that I'm loving the ultra wide here better than those two. The ultra wide is a different experience because your peripherals are not cut off. They're just wider around you. Let's go flying. Let's go take this thing up in the air. Let's go ahead and push him up here. Man flex. And let's do a toga takeoff. Toga. There we go. Get the rudder up. Nose down. I feel like I'm sitting in the actual cockpit of the airplane with this. You can now see the bumps and the tilts in the runway. Alright, V1. Let's go. Nose up. Get off the ground. Wow. Look over to my left. Positive rate of climb. Gear up. Absolutely fantastic. And we can look and see San Diego out there as we climb out. You really do feel like you're flying, man. You really do feel like you're flying in this. Man, the sense of height in this is crazy. If you're a claustrophobic person, the ultrawide is where you want to go when it comes to a VR headset, because it gives you just a better open world view. And the ultra wide is where it's at. I've heard some people complain that the ultra wide might give them eye fatigue over time. For me, I don't see why it would give me eye fatigue, to be honest. The next thing with VR is that you get a sense of scale of the cockpit, of what the cockpit size actually feels like in a real Airbus. I've sat in an Airbus cockpit a couple of times, and this is the exact scale that you're feeling. And you could see it in your peripheral. You know, you could reach over and touch the autopilot panel. See, you could touch the glare shield. You could go overhead and so forth and so on. That's the beauty of it. My airplane. Let's go ahead. And hand flying in VR is so much more intuitive than hand flying in the 2D panel, because you have the sense of height and feel. You know, you could sometimes feel it in your stomach if you're descending too fast or ascending, you know, a little bit too hot, and you get to the sense of height off the ground. So that's another thing. The hand flying aspects of VR is just much better. You have much more perception on what's happening with the airplane and your sense of space and where you are than you do when you're not flying VR. But the sense of height off the ground in VR is so much superior to the sense of height in the 2D panel. and it gives you a more sense of speed and depth and everything else.
50, 30, 20,
retard. Here we go. Oh yeah, nice landing. Reversers are out. Nose can come down. Oh yeah. The sense of depth and speed is so much better in VR. So much better. Wow. VR, I have to tell you, right off the bat, is superior to the 2D panel. However, what are the drawbacks with VR? Drawbacks with VR is that you're in a headset the entire time. Some people get hot in the headset, some people don't. I don't get hot in the headset at all, but some people do. You need a stronger computer to run VR properly. You need a beefier computer to do that. What else? The VR headset's going to cost more than your 4K monitor put together. Okay, so that's another drawback, is the expense. Some people do get motion sickness from VR, but I think that has to do it if you don't have the proper computer or if you don't have the proper headset with the right clarity, you are going to get sick. With the Pimax Crystal Super and Crystal Light, I've not got sick once in the 2 years I've been using it now. It's been just superb for me without an issue, no problem whatsoever. I have been completely fine with the Pimax and the way it is. So, but some people do get motion sickness because of it. What are you gaining? You're gaining the ultimate immersion for these things, for your headset. The immersion in this cannot be matched and cannot be beat compared to a flat panel, even if it's a curved monitor, even with a Tobii eye tracker. If I wasn't streaming, I would be in VR. But I appreciate both though. So those are my observations. Let me know what you guys think. Do you have VR? Are you gonna get VR or you don't care for it? Or do you have your curved monitor, your flat panel 4K monitor, and you're just fine with that and you love your setup around you? Whichever one, let us know in the chat what you guys think. But that's my comparison between VR and the cockpit setup that I have. I mean, the Ultrawide, I think so far for me is the best of all three. I'm gonna keep rocking the Ultrawide for a while because I like the extra peripherals that you have when you're in it. So guys, that was it. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. I appreciate you guys. I will see you in another XP video. Take care, enjoy your Sims, and have fun. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Peace. Bye. See you.